changing the character of the world. If we look at the world, we'll see that the world has a very specific character. The character may vary from country to country or culture to culture, but we'll have some main characters that is starting to emerge as primary characters of how we exist as this world, as a consciousness character, which we have created out of our own very own character and the consciousness that we have developed as our own character. The character of the world, for instance, will include our particular way of viewing war, poverty, wealth, money, health, consumerism, our fascinating point where we have utilized the concept that we apparently have free choice, which is not really free choice. We have agreed that each may have a free opinion. What we then do in the character of the world to make this opinion have even more impetus is we have created a system called democracy, where we will vote about opinions as political public policy, and then we will impose that opinion as our laws in the world to emphasize the character that we have as a majority agreed should be the character of the world. So continuously, every few years, everybody is extremely unhappy with the current character of the world. They blame the politicians, they blame everything they can possibly blame, but nobody is looking at what is actually creating this character. It was just a matter of opinion. So, within all of this, it is important to understand how we are creating this particular character and why we have been unable to evolve this character to a character that would in fact be equal as life and that would support all living forms equal. Because first of all, the realization that one must look at is what is the engine room of a character. And that engine room is what is so feverishly protected, which is free choice and your right to expression and the right to free press, where you're allowed to publish your opinion regardless. And if anyone's character is in the public domain, you can have your opinion about the character as if that is in fact the character you're dealing with. But at the end of the day, the opinion is a fascinating thing. The essence is to understand how one creates this opinion. Within the mind, there exists a fascinating ability that each human have equally, and that is to create your own dimension within your mind, which you populate with yourself as the main character, and then all the other characters that you are busy forming an opinion about, and your view of the world as you see it as this opinionated character, all of it is populated instantly in this dimension in the mind and become a memory. You will then work with your dimension, which is your own creation as God in a way, because in your mind you are the only creator and you are all alone, and you are the one that make the rules. You are the one with the opinion. You are the one that's free, because within that reality there is no real time. You don't need to eat. You don't have any form of consequence. Therefore, in your reality that you create in the mind as an opinion that becomes a memory, one are completely free, and that freedom is then attempted to be imposed on the physical reality through opinions. But now, the opinion one creates there is fascinating, because you will, the moment your opinion is being challenged, you will say, I have a right to my opinion, you can have yours, and let's leave it at that. One obviously say that in great ignorance, because you do not really understand what an opinion actually is, how you have created it, and what is the real value of it. The real point of the opinion is that in its very nature, the opinion is an illusion you are creating within your mind, where you are imposing your particular view, your rules, your laws, and in your mind you are always right. And obviously from that perspective, an interesting thing takes place. You decide within that opinion the nature of your character, whether you will be good, strong, successful, positive, negative, a winner, whatever you want this character to be, you decide, and you program the character in your mind, in your own dimension, according to what you want it to be. Then you practice that to bring that character you have created in the mind into the flesh and impose it on the flesh, taking the opinion and making it your living flesh, which you then take one step further once you've accepted the character as completely, I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat, I'm an activist, I'm a humanitarian, whatever character you finally have as the character you want to present to the world, you then take into the world and you impose it on the world as part of your opinion to bring about a system in the world which is the character of the world, which is the consciousness of the world, coming from your consciousness you have created in a dimension in your mind as an illusion of yourself, because the real you, which is the physical being, becomes more and more zombie-like as you are imposing on it your mental preferences, your mental reality, your mental opinion, your mental illusion, creating in its wake a world that in its very character is damaged, that do not consider life and do not look after life in any way that it should, because you, as the one that is opinionated, who created their own character in the image and likeness of your opinions, are the one that decide that the world must be like this. And therefore, to create another character that is better, or that is more loving, or that is evolving, or that becomes more light, or become more passionate, is not changing anything, because the only change you actually do is create another new illusionary dimension in your mind, where you become, in your own image and likeness, a better character, which you then try and sell to everybody else to make sure they agree you're a good character. But out of that character of consciousness as an illusion, all that is in this world as life is not considered. All you're considering is that which is important for you to be able to present a character that you're good, you're a good person, you're a loving person, you are a compassionate person. You are in fact creating only the label which you're going to live in this world to sell you, to have an audience that applaud you for your greatness, while the world in fact shows that the characters that create this world are damaged, because a damaged world is being created all the time, within which a simple example, for instance, is there are many children that go to bed at night hungry. As these children go to bed hungry, one can imagine the type of characters they're going to develop eventually, because they're going to feel that they have not been valued as life, and so some of them will become characters that they create for themselves, but feel they must get back at the wealthy, and so they will become the thieves, the ones that steal, because they have created that character as a way of vengeance against those that didn't care about them when they were children. So in essence, those that control the world through their opinion and that has wealth are in fact the creators of the thieves, will lock them then up without understanding that they are actually locking up their very own creation, not willing to face that because they had money and they caused this child to suffer, they were the creator of this thief that came to steal from them. So the consequence and the real impetus of how this opinionated character as the human being functions and how it evolves to try and become a better character all the time, creating religions and spirituality and love and light in its wake without actually waking up, is fascinating, because in fact the character that exists in the opinion, in the mind, is in fact a dead character, because the life given to it is only energy. It is not life for real. It is energy that was taken from the physical body, used to animate the memory so that it has the illusion that it is alive. And in many cases, when the opinionated character is enough energized, it will start talking back, and at the end, the very thought that emerged within the mind as this opinion comes from this memory, and always will be less than what it should be to actually support all life on earth equally as the physical life forms that are here. So in this time we are in fact at the point where we are getting to where we are exterminating all the animal kingdom. We've been doing it for hundreds of years already, and we are continuing with it because, according to our opinion, it is interfering with our ability to make profit. So if the jackal come and eat the sheep, it is costing us money, and therefore the jackal must be killed, because in our opinion the jackal is a pest that do not deserve to live, because it's interfering with our ability to make money, which is quite a fascinating, inhumane opinion. Yet, because we have defined life within our opinion to be based on our profit and on our wealth and on our own created goodness and not on life, and we have defined life according to this in the nth degree actually as money, we cannot even recognize what is life in this world. It doesn't matter. Because a tree grows, we can take out the forest and plant trees there for paper, and from our opinion we are not changing anything. We are only making it better for the human. No, we are not. We are making it better for the opinionated character. We are not making it better for the human, because then it would have been better for all the humans and not only for the opinionated characters. So if one look at this story, and I mean the story goes on and on, because that is the total story of life, is the totally history of humanity, is simply that of opinionated characters, one will see that in essence every opinionated character at all times are always only lying to themselves, looking for an audience willing to lie with, so that where there are two or more that agree on an opinion, it suddenly has more value, because as God, as the one that created the opinion, you have taken the point of where two or more is in my name, there is I am as well, as the divine principle of your right of freedom to have your opinion, regardless of what it actually creates, without ever actually really seeing life on earth for what it really is. Never mind that, one never actually meet another human being, because you only ever meet your opinion about the human being, and therefore you never actually look life in the eyes, because the moment that you have to see that is when a child is born, and from that very moment you build the character of the child to have the ability to create their own free opinions, so that they can confirm to you that that is the right way to go. You are supposed to have a free opinion. Nobody should influence you. You must decide who you are as a character. You must evolve and become a better character. All of that is all part of the great lie. The lie that opinion is in fact value, while the very creation process of opinion has the main character within a memory that you store in the physical body, from which it animates as the energy produced by the physical body, creating the thoughts you have in your mind to give you the impression that you are apparently alive, while all of it is a lie, and even the very thought you have is not a living entity. It is an energy entity. It is a derivative. You have taken the living entity, you have killed it, and from what remained you have created energy. It is fascinating, and now you believe that the ultimate answer to everything is energy, because with it being energy you can animate the character of consciousness forever, which is obviously impossible. If you could step beyond death, which is impossible for any character entity that exists, as it's only a memory dependent on energy, one will see that what remains after death is nothing of this character, because the character was in the first place completely dependent on the physical body producing energy. The physical body being the engine room that makes it possible for you to, through the mind, create an opinion in the image and likeness of what you want it to be, in complete self-interest, without any regard for life in any way whatsoever, as the world proves day by day. And yet you will refuse to hear me, because if you dare to investigate what I'm showing you, you will realize that you cannot continue with this lie, because you are in fact harming not only all life on earth, every child you bring into this world, every being you ever meet, but you're also harming yourself, because you lose the opportunity you have to be a real living being, so that when you die, what remains is nothing. You have learned nothing, because everything you were apparently learning, you were only learning in an illusion within your mind. It was all just an illusion. You were too scared to lose, because you felt you'll be ill if you lose it, and therefore the illusion became your most precious possession. The ring of power, your ring of power, the ring of power that is the ring around your head, claiming you're a good person like an angel, stating that you know you're a good person because you have created yourself as a good person. But that is not true. If you have to in fact walk this world as just a living being without thought, that means without character, that means without opinion, you will find that this world is an atrocious, very damaging place, and you will get no support if you dare to take on anyone's character, because the characters are the ones that made the laws, so they made sure they protected from reality, so that the illusion have as much as possible the illusion that it is real, like multiple veils upon veils. No one available to hear that there is a problem. You are not really in this world. You are living in your own created reality, where you are pretending that you are God, while that is not true. It is just illusions you are creating in your imagination. We go as far as creating all kinds of illusions into matter, like weapons to kill each other. There is certainly no reason for that, and it can only come from a being that disregards life, that you would create something with which you can kill life. And that happened in thought first, as a character, for the purposes of power, for a character, to control life through an illusion. And every parent built these characters into their children. It is, at the very least, child abuse in its most atrocious form. Now, this process of realizing yourself as life, as the physical flesh that must be the living word that is best for all life always, of which there were many that has come through the ages to remind us that this is what we should be, this is again a reminder. It is time to stop, and we go to great lengths to explain how that is possible and how one can actually become life. We currently have a Journey to Life writing process, which is how one actually remove all these characters of illusions from your flesh that you have implanted over time, because you can't even remember how you created it. Never mind, remember how you implanted into the flesh and how you became these personalities that seem to control you with a constant flood of thoughts in your head, which you have accepted as life, while it is only energy and not life. Now, hearing me reading these blogs and looking at the research Destiny has done through the portal will obviously be shocking, because it is in its very essence showing in detail the lie that has been allowed to destroy this world. And therefore, much has changed in the universe since the Destiny portal opened to bring an end to this illusion, and we are on the way. You will see in your world that the opinions of men, that the democracy of trying to find evolved opinions that can bring stability to the economic world, to the health world, to the very way humanity as a character in this world exists, to the very system as a character in this world that we've created, you'll find that there is no solutions, and even the most intelligent amongst us are actually just illusions, because all the intelligence were also created just in another dimension in the mind as an opinion. Creating all our science as opinions, having no actualization of what the physical world is all about. And therefore we have no physical beings living on Earth. We have organic robots that supply energy as a factory for a character in the mind that lives in another dimension, acting as if it is God. It is really screwed up, because in essence every human being is mentally insane. But because those that made the rules are also equally mentally insane, living a complete illusion, that illusion has been accepted as reality, and everybody claims it must be working. But I would dare you to really look at this world, at the millions upon millions for which this world isn't working, and for whom you do not care at all, because you have said to them, unless they create the same opinionated characters as you have, they will have no support. So you are in fact a dictator dictating to them what they must be, so that you can protect your own character. In the meantime, you were willing to kill them through poverty, just so that your character can remain the main character in the game. But what you're doing through poverty, allowing starvation, is murder. But in the opinionated character that you've created, that is not murder. That is their choice, because they are not willing to submit to your character. You are Hitler, in fact, manifested. You are, in fact, the very dictator that dictates to life in this world. creating an abomination, as we can see in this world. So I invite you to read the Journey to Life blogs, to read the blogs from the people that has already removed these characters and that has found an astounding truth. There is actually life on earth, and that you can be life on earth, and that it is a journey because through time you have imposed many memories and many characters upon your flesh, and that it is quite an awakening because your flesh in itself has been tortured into submission over extended generations. So lovingly one must return oneself as the main character on earth, which is the one of flesh, to be the one that really lives here, bringing forth a world of oneness and equality, where every flesh character in the real world here on earth is equally taken care of, and that all opinions is condemned to what they really are, lies. And we cannot build a reality of life on lies, and we cannot allow lies to have a right to exist. You do not allow anyone, even your own child, to lie to you, but you would allow yourself to lie to yourself and teach your child how to lie just like you. And then you will lie to yourself that apparently this world is a place where life exists, when you don't even understand how you actually think, where thoughts come from, where feeling come from, where energy come from, where characterization come from, how you create personalities. Now psychology, nothing understands anything of the detail of this. We only found these things through the Destiny portal because we in fact move through all dimensions investigating what is best for all life. We found a shocking truth. Nobody really knows, because nobody can actually know, because nobody is actually real, and nobody has actually ever cared, and that all love, all compassion, all empathy, everything that has ever existed as any being throughout all of history has been a lie. And that is a shocking truth. I mean, even we didn't expect that. I mean, there had to be something good. The only thing we found that was good was that actual life exists in the flesh, in matter. Actual life exists that is codependent. And we discovered that it is possible that this actual life, as the living beings here on earth, as the main flesh character, can live together and can create a world that is best for life. We discovered that everything we believe, all faith, all religion, all psychology, all education, everything that is currently existing as the knowledge base of humanity is based on opinion and formed by characters. That is illusions, by its very definition, making the knowledge we have, that we base our decisions on in this world, based on a lie, not on fact. The facts are, which we do not want to accept, is that if a person do not get good nutrition every day, they will get sick and they will have a shorter life, and you are in fact killing them. If that would happen to your child, you would scream murder. But because it's not your child, not within your range of your consciousness, of your own illusionary opinion that exists only as energy, you don't care. You create just another character that believes that it is apparently the will of another character which you call God, which you have no control over, because in that way you can justify your character as being created by another character you made up, you called God. So in that way you have got the perfect lie. The lie of God. God created me and therefore I have no say. I am just living in God's plan. But that is not really happening if you go down to the actual engineering and the actual design and the way one actually think and create characters and implant them into the flesh. That is actually measurable but you don't want to see because you can't at the moment, because who is seeing is just a character. Therefore I call on the living flesh of each one that can hear me as I am speaking to them, also through the portal, to wake up and throw off this alien invasion, this lie, this parasite that feeds off your living flesh just for energy, and to bring it to what it must be. Nothing, because it is an illusion. It doesn't really exist. You are the one that actually decide. You are the one that actually allow it. You are the one that must forgive yourself. You are the one that must wake up. You are the one that must realize yourself. You are the one that is alive in this reality for real. You are the one that have not learned anything yet. You are the one. It is time. Hear me. The characters are not real. The torture you're experiencing is real. That is how it keeps you captive. But if you walk through the pain, walk through it, there is a point where it stops, and that point is when you delete this character. Delete it. Let it be done. And we are here to support you so that you can find yourself here on earth as you already exist and become that which you must be. The actual expression of life in its fullness, to give as you would like to receive. Because under the control of this dictators of characters, under the domain of the characters, under the dominion of the characters, or under the dominion of the lie, you have lost yourself, even forgotten that you are actually breathing, even forgotten that without you the characters can never exist, that without you the world is lost in the characters and the characterization of a lie as the greatest con ever. The con of consciousness, which is the consciousness of the lie as the character. Forever evolving. You do not need to evolve. You are superior in every way. You are the very part that create this reality. But because you are allowing the character to take control, you have created a damaged world, and you are a damaged being. Having multiple illusions all at once, as multiple characters all competing for dominion to create your life within the consciousness domain of the character. Seeking bizarre things like happiness, forming all kinds of addictions to feelings and emotions, becoming completely dependent on these things like energy, like a drug. You do not require any of that to be who you are. All of that are just illusions. You are allowing to be created within you, to whom you have submitted your responsibility. It is time to wake up from the lie. Join us. Start writing, start reading. It is a process. It'll take 7 years of your life to rebirth yourself and sort out your life and to become the main character as the living word, as the living flesh here on earth, without having a single thought in your mind. And you won't die. You will become what you cannot even begin to conceive is possible. Something that the mind could never create. Join us. Let's end the rule of opinion. Real democracy is when the living being as the flesh vote for what policy will best support all life equally on earth. That's democracy. The current democracy is like demons that's crazy, because the characters that functions as energy in fact are a demon, because it is less than man as the flesh. It is demanded. It has demanded man into an illusion, a personal lie, and personalized it as personality, creating a system that only recognize these personalized personalities as personalized. It's like a closed cycle of illusions, living in fear in the atmosphere all the time, that if you would lose this personality, apparently there will be nothing left. That's not true. The real being is yet to wake up. The real being on earth is yet to be born. It is the living flesh, the main character on earth. Join us in the journey to life. It will cost you everything that is an illusion, which is nothing. It is the only thing that is free, because it will free you. And all the characters that do not hear me will attack and try and break my character. But you can't, you see. I don't have a character that exists in a mind dimension. My mind is complete darkness at all times, as it should be. I was born from the darkness, just like you. Therefore, you cannot break my character, because my character is the living flesh, and this that you hear is the living word. And what I see and understand is everything about how everything actually functions in detail, as I demonstrate to those that dare to come and spend some time in my presence as the living flesh. I am a man. You are not. You are a demon, because you're less than man, because you only exist in your mind as pictures. I am an actual living being. You're not. So I call on that part of you that is a living being, which is your living flesh. Get rid of the pest inside your head that pester you all the time. It's only trying to prevent its end. It's living in constant fear. You don't have to fear it. When you have that out, the torture stops. It's been torturing you all your life as it sucks you dry from the energy. You don't have to do that. You have a choice. A choice for life, because that is the only real choice that will ever exist. Join us at Destiny. Investigate equal money. Investigate the journey to life. Life is not a matter of opinion. Life is real. Current character of the world, they blame the politicians, they blame everything they can possibly blame, but nobody is looking at what is actually creating this character. It was just a matter of opinion. So, within all of this, it is important to understand how we are creating this particular character, and why we have been unable to evolve this character to a character that would in fact be equal as life, and that would support all living forms equal. Because first of all, the realization that one must character of the world. If we look at the world, we'll see that the world has a very specific character. The character may vary from country to country or culture to culture, but we'll have some main characters that is starting to emerge as primary characters of how we free choice, which is not really free choice. We have agreed that each may have a free opinion. What we then do in the character of the world to make this opinion have even more impetus is we have created a system called democracy, where we will vote about opinions as political public policy, and then we will impose that opinion as our laws in the world to emphasize the character that we have as a majority agreed should be the character of the world. So continuously, every few years, everybody is extremely unhappy with the exist as this world as a consciousness character, which we have created out of our own very own character and the consciousness that we have developed as our own character. The character of the world, for instance, will include our particular way of viewing war, poverty, wealth, money, health, consumerism, our fascinating point where we have utilized the concept that we apparently have look at is what is the engine room of a character. That engine room is what is so feverishly protected, which is free choice and your right to expression and the right to free press, where you're allowed to publish your opinion regardless. And if anyone's character is in the public domain, you can have your opinion about the character as if that is in fact the character you're dealing with. But at the end of the day, the opinion is a fascinating thing. The essence is to understand